Titans Talk Back is live and in effect. If you want in, plenty to vent about. 615-737-1045. Brent Dougherty with you. Zach Lyons is here. Zach, what's up?
Oh, man, this is quite the game to really debut the regular season on.
The Dr. Kevin Dyson, former Titan. I mean, that one stung. From a player perspective, how do you deal with that in an opener where the defense basically gave up 3 real points?
Yeah, optimism is a real thing in the beginning of a season, even from a player's perspective. Fans, of course, we all want our teams to win. We start off, you see what happens, all the moves in the offseason. You get excited. You think got this new offense you're going to unleash, and then you get the
Yep.
And it's a little bit deflating. Now, this game is obviously a tale two halves. Then one half was pretty good and got you really excited. And to me, the turning point was that last score, that kickoff return of 66-yard return. That was the turning point where the Bears just locked in. They only got 3 out of that, but their defense came alive, special teams came alive. It was just like that second half was just a different animal for the Titans. So, kudos to the Bears, man. That's what teams have to do when you got a rookie quarterback, and they got to surround him with plays on different facets of the game. And we talked about it on this show for plenty of years. Football in itself comes down to 3 parts of the game, and you got to win 2/3 of those. If one is down, the other 2 need to pick it up, and that's what the Bears did today. Their offense was struggling with a rookie quarterback. Special teams and defense said, I got you back, and they came out and win the game today. So that was the difference today for me.
If you guys want in, Jackson Williams producing the show. He will get you locked and loaded and ready for us and for everyone listening who is basically going through the same thing. So let's talk about Titans Talk Back, presented by Lee Company. Lee Company, all you need. Visit Lee Company online at leecompany.com. From a numbers perspective, Zach, tale of 2 halves, as Dice said, and that played itself out numerically as well. And Titans able to run the ball in the first half, not able to run the ball in the second half, and everything kind of starts and finishes with that.
Yeah, when we were going through and talking about it, and I saw that, I had to check my math right, my calculations right, and everything, because I could not believe they only had 25 rush yards in the second half.
Rushing yards.
That's ridiculous, because they went in to the second half at halftime going 7.1 yards per attempt on the ground, and then they come back and only go
rush yards in the first half.
Yeah, 115. They only get 25 in the second half, and Brian Callahan spoke about play calling rhythm, and with this offensive line, they allowed 15 pressures on the offensive line, 2 sacks. J.C. Latham allowed 5 himself, 1 sack, 3 quarterback hits, and 1 pressure. So when you're not efficient on the ground, and then you're not efficient in the pass blocking game, it's hard for Brian Callahan to find plays that work. And he tried with a couple of screen passes. He tried with the Traylon Burks end around. I mean, he tried anything and everything he could think of, and nothing was working against the Chicago Bears defense that adjusted in the second half.
Let me stop you there, Dice. How does 15 pressures? Okay, inability to run the ball in the second half, so you're behind the sticks, right? So how do those pressures affect not only the quarterback and his timing, but the routes and their timing, and what Zach brought up, play calling rhythm?
Well, I think more so the effects of it is the quarterback and him not be able to plant and really deliver a good ball. From a receiver standpoint, we run our routes based on what's ahead of us. So I think the Bears were doing a lot of combo coverages, a lot of zone coverages, very little man-to-man. They did have some on third and medium, third and short. They had a lot of man-to-man schemes. But if you look at it, they were just doing some disguising and doing some blitzing from the secondary that created some gaps. And I think one time they sent on the pick, I want to say they sent 5 sent 6, 1 extra, and the Titans had all 5 guys out. And the one guy that was free, Levis was responsible for, his guy wasn't open. He held on to it a little longer, then decided to do the little flip, ended up being a pick 6. And so they were in man coverage on that one, obviously. But that aside, it becomes about blitz recognition, who's the hot, if they have side adjustments, going to the sight guy and getting the ball, releasing the football. And I thought that was a struggle for Will, especially in the second half, is there was a couple of times, regardless, the guy wasn't open. He saw a blitz coming, just throw it in the stands, at that point, instead of trying to make something happen.
Don't you have to do that if you're the quarterback, understanding that offense on the Chicago side is not moving the football?
Nothing. Just don't put my defense in a bad situation.
Punt the ball. Take the sack, throw it away, whatever.
They weren't moving the football. They had one good drive that I can remember the second half, but that still wasn't nothing that would have scared me.
That's what made me so mad about that interception.
Yes.
Is because, first off, you have one of the best punters in the league, right?
Yeah.
So even if you take the sack, you can still put the bad offense in the Chicago Bears in a worse position, but instead you gave him up 6 points.
Yes,
and it's that playing that hero ball that he kind of tends to fall into, and that's something that me and Blaine kind of talked about all week. You don't want him playing the hero ball. It's something that Brian Callahan has talked about all offseason, is not playing the hero ball and making smart decisions, and he had an opportunity to eat the sack. You had to eat the sack, and instead he did something I'll never forget. Tom Brady has done it. Will Levis is not the first quarterback to have been falling down to the ground and throw an interception. So now, Tom Brady did it against Miami. I was watching football with my dad, so it's like something I remember from a long time ago. But every quarterback has that one moment where they make a stupid mistake, and he took responsibility for it. He said it was a boneheaded play.
He immediately started pounding his helmet with his.
He knew better.
Yeah,
as soon as he let it go. But I joked before we got on the air that this was a game of two rookie quarterbacks. Which rookie quarterback is going to play better? First half, Levis played better. And Caleb really didn't get going, but it's essentially he's only in game 11 as a player, his 10th start, so he's still a young guy. He's still got lots to learn. And these instances, when you scramble and you got the first down, get down. When you're about to go down for a sack and you don't have good leg momentum to make a solid throw, just go down, take the sack. You know what I mean? Know the situations of the game so you don't get yourself in trouble or put your team in a bad situation, and give, like that play, for instance, the one you're talking about, Zach, giving Bears momentum, and that just kind of changed everything.
Yep.
And so that's, again, he's still rookie. I mean, he's still young. I should say he's rookie. He's still young. He's still got a lot to learn.
We will talk through Will Levis. We'll talk through the offensive line, the stalling out of the offense, as Coach Matt called it. And the defense played exceptionally well, in my opinion. A lot to get into. If you want to vent, we have 2 lines open. We will go to the phones when we come back. Titans Talk Back, presented by Lee Company. All you need, visit Lee Company online at leecompany.com. Brent Dougherty, Zach Lyons, Kevin Dyson, Jackson Williams producing. We will be here until 6:30, walking you up till Sunday Night Football, which you'll catch from Westwood One right here on 104.5 The Zone. We'll be right back. If you want in, jump in. 615-737-1045. Here we go. Titans Talk back on the air. Your chance to vent. 615-737-1045. One line open. We're going to go to the phones momentarily. The Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company to tackle their HVAC, plumbing, and electrical problems. They can protect your home, too. Your next play, visit LeeCompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. Just a debacle today. When you look at it, that one stung. It's one thing if that happens in like week 6, but when you have like coaching change and all the excitement leading up to the opener on the road, you're like everyone's best bet at +4, and then you jump out 17-0.
I got PTSD. Like this feels like Mike Vrabel, Todd Downing, like levels of ineptitude in the second half, where it's just driving me nuts.
This is going to be those one that, regardless how the season plays out, you can go 15-1, and this game's going to haunt you.
Hey, Dice, they ain't going 15.
Well, I know. That's hard to do, regardless how good you are.
Yes,
but it's just this game's going to haunt you because this is one you let slip away. 17-point head start going to the second half with a rookie quarterback who is struggling. They couldn't run the football. What's his name? Swift was non-existent.
All you had to do was play clean football.
Yep.
Once you go up 17-0,
that's it.
That offense on the Bear side is not doing anything.
They couldn't put up 17 points. If it wasn't for special teams and defense, they don't get 24 points.
Nope.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's insane. I just couldn't
punt
believe
for a
it.
touchdown, interception for return for a touchdown, fumble leads to a field goal because the defense held up. 66-yard kickoff return leads to a field goal because the defense held up. Defense gave up 3 points.
3 points.
Basically.
You know, I wish the NFL would look into that because right now, defense per game points given up is 24. And they had nothing to do with 21 points of that.
Really 3.
Yeah.
615-737-1045. Again, Brent Dougherty, Zach Lyons, Kevin Dyson. We are with you until 6:30, walking you up to Sunday Night Football. And you can catch the Westwood One coverage of Sunday Night Football right here on 104.5 The Zone. And you'll get the Rams at the Detroit Lions, the quarterback trade game. Matthew Stafford against Jared Goff right here on 104.5 The Zone. You want to go to the people?
Let's go.
Want to go to the people, Zach?
I'm reading these comments. I already say Levis was average at UK. I mean, I'm reading the comments on the stream.
Like the phone, I'm about to touch it, but I'm scared to because it's like buzzing and like moving. Like there's a whole lot of energy in here. All right, 615-737-1045. Willie Joe first up on Titans Talk Back, presented by Lee Company. Willie Joe, what's up, man?
What's up?
Yo.
What's going on, man?
Hey, I woke up this morning, man, was so happy. NFL Sunday. And then we got to watch the greatest quarterback in Titans history, Will Levis, who I would have rather had Hendon Hooker starting today than him. This guy completely blowed the game. And I don't know what Amy Adams is sitting there looking at, but she's probably going, boy, I made a bad decision. Because this guy missed multiple throws, couldn't hit Calvin Ridley wide open for a touchdown, and then throws the most – I have never seen anything like it in my life. Just throw it up underhanded like a softball, adult softball. Just here, hit it. Here, come get it. And we lose the game. And that's all I got, man. I'm so disappointed in the Titans today that we should have won that game 31-0. And Brian Callahan better start calling some better plays. The play calling was atrocious today.
Let me ask you something, though. The offensive line struggled, especially when Dylan Radins went out. Struggled mightily in the second half. Again, we're not strangers to this problem, right? Will Levis looked like, to me, that the second he took the snap, whether it was in shotgun or under center, he was trying to feel the pressure. Mm-hmm. And so how does that affect a quarterback in terms of what he's trying to do when he knows he doesn't have time? Thank you, Willie Joe. Appreciate you, man.
He's more concerned with what's going on than what his job entails. You know, reading the defense, scanning. That's why I said there was a couple of times, even though they're bringing pressure, I felt like he held on to it a little bit later, a little longer. And if you're holding it that long and you know the blitz is coming, as Callahan said on that one when he flipped it, he recognized blitz was coming. He recognized there was one guy going to be free. So you go to your hot, he's not there, throw it away. That's what the difference is between a guy like Aaron Rodgers who's coming in next week understanding those scenarios, understanding protecting the football compared to a young guy like Caleb Williams or Will Levis.
Guess what? Also, that defense of the Jets is better than this one.
Don't
the
say
Bears,
that, man.
Man, he's just setting us up for doom and gloom already heading into week 2.
It's not just me. I heard Coach Mack and Mikey say it, so it's not just me. The frustrating part, Zach, though, is like if you play a clean game on offense and special teams, you win this by multiple scores on the road.
It's crazy because we're sitting here at halftime, 17-3. It's me and Lucas was in here, and like I'm standing up. I'm so excited for this team especially after the Chig touchdown. Mm-hmm. I'm just standing up. I can't sit down. And then as the game goes on in the second quarter, I just slowly start getting back into the chair and I could just feel the weight of the world because I just could see it all playing out in real time. Like you said, second half, 3 3-and-outs. 2 interceptions, 1 fumble, and a punt block. Woo. That is the entirety of the Tennessee Titans' second half drive.
7 possessions.
So 7 possessions, and the only ones that didn't turn into like an end in a turnover were 3-and-outs. It was terrible, and I do feel the offensive line needs some blame. But also, sometimes a quarterback could be an offensive line's best friend if they're not drifting too far deep in their pass sets. And I felt like sometimes he was taking a few steps too deep back and allowing maybe some extra opportunity for pressure by not stepping up into the pocket. And he even said on the Calvin Ridley,
he said during the offseason he was working on that.
Right. And
stepping up the ladder.
That first missed Calvin Ridley throw where people thought his hand maybe got hit or maybe the wind caught it up there, but it sailed. And he said that he felt like he couldn't step up into the pocket to make a better throw. And I'm like, I'd have to go back and look at it, but I feel like that pocket was pretty good on that throw.
Yeah. I'd be curious, the last one, the Johnson, that last pick, I should say, again, throw off his back foot, trying to go vertical.
Yeah.
Again.
I think it was like a rainbow.
Yeah.
I mean.
Again, fundamentals. And I'll say it. Michael Jordan always talks about it, man. The game changes as far as speed and height, weight, speed. One thing never changes is fundamentals. And like, to your point, Zach, stepping up in the pocket is a fundamental part of the game.
615-737-1045. Eric in Nashville. Eric, how are you, man?
Could be better, guys. Just what a way to lose a ball game. And I'm not going to get on here and bash Will Levis and all that type of stuff. You can't do that one game. We should have him hook all that. And for those people talking about we're going to sign Dak Prescott, he signed his contract extension for now to play a 4-year deal. So that's not coming here. I didn't think that was happening anyway. And guys, y'all pretty much talk about. But I've got to talk about something that happened near the end of the first half. It was under 2 minutes to go in the first half. We were up 17-0. The Bears had the ball. The ball was tipped. The Bears receiver caught the ball, but he gets the ball hit. He fumbles the ball, and an offensive lineman recovers the ball. Isn't that the holy roller rule? Because from what I understand, the person that fumbles the ball has to get it back if it's under 2 minutes to go in either the second or the fourth quarter. If you remember, the Bears ran another play, and then the official says the previous play is under review, and then they said the play stands. Maybe they score a field goal, maybe they don't. But we were up 17-0. That's the holy roller rule, because I remember that Kenny Stabler and Dave Casper, because I was in high school when that play happened.
I thought it was you can't advance the fumble, only the guy fumbling the ball, and it didn't get advanced, right? Like
right, he just fell on it.
I thought it was the person that fumbled the ball had to fall on it, recover it.
No.
Okay, if I'm incorrect, then I apologize. That's the thing that's confusing about that rule. I just really thought that the player that fumbled the ball was the one that had to recover it.
I thought the broadcasters were confused by that too. They were clearly reviewing the previous play.
Okay.
And I've seen them do that before because like you think they shouldn't be able to go back a play once the ball is snapped. Right. It should be dead, right?
Yeah.
But I've seen that happen before where they go two plays back.
But that's the thing. They looked at it after another play had happened. But if I'm wrong, I apologize. I thought when you fumbled the ball at under 2 minutes, it's the person that fumbled it had to be the one that recovered it. But
no.
If I'm wrong, then I apologize. Guys, y'all take care.
All right, Eric.
We'll talk again soon.
Appreciate it. Good to hear you. 615-737-1045. That's right? Like that's the Dave Casper rule, because you don't want to fumble it forward. Like you shouldn't be allowed to fumble it forward and gain an advantage. But if it goes,
I also felt like he didn't even catch it. Like I felt like that was kind of an incomplete pass.
I think that's what they were looking at.
And,
but I think the broadcast did a bad job if you were watching on television, because they didn't even go back and show the replay. Once they showed the other replay, which was clearly a catch. That's not what they were looking at.
And Mike Keith and Coach Mack were confused. Like you could tell that they were like, wait a minute, they just ran a play. Which one are you reviewing?
Yeah.
Like nobody knew what they were doing.
Right.
It's kind of weird. But I just kind of
happened before. I don't think you should be allowed to go back 2 plays.
That's the first time I saw that.
Yeah. I can't remember the other time I saw it, but I know because I remember having this thought in my head about like, how are you reviewing plays
Well, who does that punish though? Like if they overturn it, you move it back, that punishes the offense. They get it down, and then also punish the defense because you got an extra play from that same spot to redo because they didn't do much that next play.
I think they would have just made it an incomplete pass, and then the pass to the tight end would have been a non-play. And then,
I guess so.
Start right back with
it's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally think it's still weird that we have in 2024 that we have guys holding sticks with chains. Like, what are we doing?
Serious?
Listen, the F&M Bank chat.
Wimbledon is more advanced than the NFL. Come on.
They're wanting. There's a lot of people in the F&M Bank chat wanting Mason Rudolph to play, and I don't want to. I just want to say this right now. Mason Rudolph is not your starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. This is Will Levis.
Again, you got to go back.
You got to.
Dice, it's one game, right?
It's one game.
It's week 1.
It's week 1, and he's in his 10th, 11th game of his pro career. He's still learning. It's new offense, too. New philosophy. I'm not going to just throw him to the wolves just yet. I felt like, did he put his team in a bad situation in the second half? Absolutely. Do you need your quarterback to play better? Absolutely. Does he need to be better? Absolutely. But there's a lot of upside in him. His arm strength, his competitive spirit, his willingness to learn and grow, his work ethic, all this stuff that's documented about him leads you to believe he's going to get better. That second half was bad all around for offense and special teams. We don't forget special teams. Because, again, football's played in thirds. Right. And special teams got a block punt, gave up a 60-something yarder. You know what I mean? So
tough day for Cole Anderson, the special teams
coordinator. Tough day.
Yeah. Look like Craig Ackerman was still here.
Yeah. So Denard, he's got to feel positive about where he's at defense.
I thought 148 total yards.
Come on, I thought the secondary competed. You worry about that? I think they got after the quarterback. Saw Landry get after the quarterback. We saw Big Sweat just looking like a veteran.
He's going to be a stud, dude. He already is.
Big Jeff commanding 3 people.
Got triple teamed on Landry's side.
That was just so wild to watch.
Right.
And you could tell that center was like, I kind of screwed up on that because he saw Landry go right by him.
Yeah, and so all that being said, if your defense plays at this level, now there's going to be some games they just don't match up well. That's just how the NFL is. But the defense can play at this level, they're going to be in more games than they're not.
Need to see growth in this football team. So that is data point number 1, right? Yeah. So you need to see growth in this football team. Let's all remember that Vegas put a 6.5 win total for the Titans.
Yeah.
So you go over under 6.5. So 6-11 is, or 7-10 is where Vegas has them. So
and the way their defense is, I could see them going over that. Because they're going to put them in situations or give them opportunities to win games.
Need to stay healthy, but yes.
They got to stay healthy.
In terms of the starters,
Well, it's tough to lose this game because now you got, you're kind of getting a gimme in week 3 with Malik Willis or Sean Clifford. That was not a gimme earlier in the year. Now you've kind of are swapping a loss and a win instead of having maybe possibly a 2-1 start to the season. So it's a tough loss to swallow.
Yeah. This Jet game's going to be huge.
Yep. Yeah. 615-737-1045, the home opener next weekend against the Jets. Woo. Gorilla in Nashville. Gorilla is up. Yo, G. There you go. Adam in Portland next up. Adam, what's up?
Man, I guess the good thing is it looked like Tom Brady out there. Unfortunately for us, it's the broadcaster version of Tom Brady that we got to see, which is not nearly as good. It looked like a preseason game. What is wrong with these guys? Ball's bouncing everywhere. Chicago, too. That was the sloppiest NFL game I've ever seen before. I'm not too worked up because I thought our defense looked good. Levis, you are not Patrick Mahomes, dude. Stop. Look in the mirror. You are Will Levis. You are not Patrick Mahomes. Stop trying to do fun stuff. You haven't earned any of that. Like, just be fundamental. They gave you a 17-point cushion on the road, and you come out and you start doing weird, sloppy things with the football. So, yeah, no, you're the broadcast version of Brady, bud.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it. Maybe you put the fun in fundamental.
Yeah, it was a sloppy game. I mean, all those penalties and everything.
Can you imagine, from a Bears perspective, if the Titans play a clean game, no block punt, no pick six, no fumble, and they lose 24-3 or whatever, 17-3, whatever it is, and they're sitting in that locker room with 3 offensive points and 148 yards of total offense.
Yeah.
So, what are they talking about?
So first half, rushing, 16 carries, 115 yards, right? Zach, I think you talked about 7 yards per.
Yeah.
Playing ahead of the sticks, everything.
Ended up with 26, 140. So 10 for 25.
Yeah.
That's, to me.
So from an offensive perspective, second and long, third and long, much different when you have an offensive line that's trying to get better.
Yeah, that to me, that's a telltale stat of the inconsistency of the offense being able to produce anything. So I'm not giving Will Levis a pass by any stretch of imagination.
Nope.
But if the running game is doing what it's doing in the first half, he's a lot better in that second half. But they're not able to run because they get behind the chains, penalties, bad throws.
I mean, it was obvious, right, that the Bears at halftime said, we're not going to let them run the football. And we'll go from there.
They started testing that offensive line, and pushing the limits of what that offensive line can do in week one, knowing that there's a bunch of young players on there, a bunch of players that have not built up a lot of chemistry over seasons and games. And they just decided, they came out and they said, hey, we're going to send 5. We're going to send 6. We're just going to constantly send people. And you're going to have to beat our corners without a healthy DeAndre Hopkins, mind you, which is a bit, his safety blanket is DeAndre Hopkins, Will Levis. So him being out, or at least being out there only for like 16 snaps or whatever it was, it hurts Will Levis. And he's going to have to learn to throw the ball without DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to have to lean on these other players, and he tried to get it to Ridley, but him and Ridley's the connection issues, the chemistry issues that we heard all off season long reared its ugly head in week one. Does not mean
a touchdown.
Does not mean it's going to be all year long, but it was all year long in Jacksonville. So last year with Ridley and Trevor Lawrence. So there is some concern that I think that people should have. Doesn't mean that you give up on the season or anything in week one.
No, but
there's some stuff that this team clearly has to work
through. How many pressures did you say Latham gave up?
He gave up 5.
Five pressures.
Skoronski had a penalty, at least one.
That's the left side.
Who would have ever thought that Dylan Radin's going out would have such an impact? But man, they went after Rupchich, man.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, just pushed him into the backfield.
As soon as he got in the game almost.
But, yeah, Levis missed. Ridley would have been a touchdown. That is something that we have seen at practice. We've seen very inconsistent results from them. They've hit on deep balls in practice, and they've missed a lot, too, at least from what we've been able to see. So that not much of a surprise, but that was a touchdown with a good ball.
And listen, the left side of the line, everybody's really excited about it. They gave up 9 pressures between J.C. Latham and Peter Skoronski. So Latham had 5, Peter Skoronski had 4. Yeah. Not a good day on the left side of the line.
And Latham's going to have to grow up. I mean, but we knew that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
He's on that side where usually typical teams have their best pass rusher too. So it's going to be some bumps and bruises, and we'll see how Callahan morphs his protections to help that. If it continues to have 5 pressures a game, you can need your quarterback out there. You can't let him get hit. So we'll see how the protections. We'll see how they start morphing their protection. Do they slide that way? Do they slide the other way? Have the tight end stayed? Running back chipping. We'll see how they start utilizing different guys if it continues. But again, you watch him, a lot of potential. I mean, I like both of them. My left side, that's where a lot of the runs came from early in the first half, was on that left side of the line.
Yep. 615-737-1045. Rick in Nashville next up. Rick, what's up? Yo, Rick. That's on me, actually. Here's Rick in Nashville. That was on me. Sorry, Rick. I know you were like talking into a phone and nobody was talking, and that's on me, man.
I hear you. Can I just make one brief comment and then say what I feel about this game?
Yep.
Did the Titans run off the field before halftime with about 29 seconds left? Or was that something I didn't catch right? Because it looked like they were down on the 30-yard line on their side, but they just decided not to go any further and not take any chances when they were ahead 17-0.
It was less than that, but yeah, they ran the ball, got about 10 yards if I remember correctly.
It was 11 yards, I think.
Zach's
he got
looking
the
it up.
first down.
But yeah, they just took it to the house 17-3. Bears fans were booing their team. Like, I mean,
all indication we about to just run this out.
They were where they wanted to be right there.
About to run them out their own building.
Yeah, but it seems like they would have tried to maybe gain some more. And who knows if it was Brady in there, they might have tried to get a field goal before halftime or something.
Brady was not in there.
They were also they were also on their own 17 too.
Well, here's what I have to say.
Okay, Rick.
If you are behind or ahead 17-3, and you let that slip away with all these turnovers, this is the game right there. And Levis, I mean, I hate to say it, but I tell you, I felt like, he needs to be traded.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this is like ridiculous. That if you are that much of because with the Titans, it's always everyone else is doing really good and supporting everybody, and just like with Henry last year, and then there's one person that screws it all up for the whole team, and it's just ridiculous that they let that thing slip away when they were that far ahead. What do you think?
Rick, you want to trade? Let's trade Will Levis to the Packers for Malik Willis. You want to do that?
Well, I tell you the truth. I like the other quarterback that you guys said was not up for the position.
Mason Rudolph.
Yeah,
I like him as a backup. I do. He's 8-5-1 as a starter. He went 3-0 down the stretch for the Steelers last year and got them in the playoffs. By the way, Steelers won again. They just find ways to win. They find ways to win. But, I mean, here's the reality situation. You're not going to be able to trade Will Levis right now.
You shouldn't want to give up on Will Levis this early. I mean, what with this game number 9, it's his 10th game, but he only got like 10 snaps in that other game. That really doesn't count. So it's like his 9th game, and we've seen now technically half a season from Will Levis so far, and we were already talking about trading him.
Right, that Houston game.
Yeah,
he looked
Falcons game.
Yeah,
Miami game.
We're like, okay, we got something.
Miami comeback,
and we got to remember this is a new coordinator. New offense, new philosophy. He's still trying to figure something out. Then, again, I hope people don't think I'm giving him a pass for today. I'm just saying, just don't go ahead and just throw this man to pasture just yet, because there's a lot of football left, and all the things that come out of the Titans organization, the intangible stuff that you can't coach, work ethic, all those different things. They say he has it. So we'll see how he grows from this one.
He was also pressured 15 times. And I want you to hit on your point about how he is still technically, in terms of games played, a rookie.
Still
right?
rookie.
Like, I want you to hit on that. No pass for Will Levis. The underhand throw was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, cost them the game.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that. Let's talk about that when we come back. More of your phone calls. We have one line open. Grab it quickly, and then we'll go from there. 615-737-1045. Always your chance to vent. Titans Talk Back. The Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company to tackle their HVAC, plumbing, and electrical problems. They can protect your home, too. Your next play, visit LeeCompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. Jackson, get us the break, bro. Titans Talk Back, presented by Lee Company. All you need, visit Lee Company online at leecompany.com. A lot of venting going on today. That's a tough one, man. That one stung. To open the season with that, to give up 148 total yards and lose. Woo!
It's got to be studied in a lab. I mean, they were not the Titans not covering 4.5 points, right? After being up 17-0 in a halftime and only allowing like 150 total yards.
Yep.
Put it in history, because it's the first time that a rookie quarterback has won week 1 since 2018 in Sam Darnold. This is the first time a first overall pick quarterback has won since Derek Carr back in 2002.
David Carr. Yeah.
Back in 2002.
Yep.
Which is insane to think about. Like, the Tennessee Titans made history in all the wrong ways.
And we're talking through it. 615-737-1045. 615-737-1045. The Titans with all of 4 first downs in the second half. Michael in London. Michael, what's up?
Evening, guys. How you doing?
Good, Michael. How are you?
My goodness. How am I?
What time is it over there? Like, what time is it over there? 10:30? 4?
It's hold on, let me check. It's 10:30.
Yeah.
I am spitting feathers, honestly. Like, I don't even know where to start.
I know.
So normally I call the day show, Ramon and those guys.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, I just could not wait. So let me start with saying I think this season those guys have done a fantastic job in their season to try and get a lot of the players of Robinson left behind and so on. I think Levis, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on what way you look at it, came in and he had to be assessed this year. But let's be honest, we know football. Like, you look at him today, I mean, that was like getting married to a really pretty girl, and then you get to the room and everything just goes pear-shaped. That literally was what happened today.
Wow.
Honestly.
That fast?
I was thinking about, I thought, I mean, you look at him, and I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, I made a phone call to those guys in week 1 of last year, and I said, we are in trouble. And the defense today was unbelievable. 150 yards, and I mean, they were awesome, and I think they will get us out of trouble as we progress. But you could not find anybody standing up, and you thought you could throw the ball, diving like Spider-Man. What are you doing? What are you doing? And I look at that right now, and you know, the not too good news is there really isn't anybody in the college level right now that you're looking at and thinking, okay, you know what, we can't wait to tank the season and draft someone as a first-round draft pick. So we got to make this work. And you know, again, I got to repeat, those guys were sensational on defense today. Now, the other thing is, and this brought back flashbacks of Rabel, is, I don't know about you guys, but we couldn't throw the ball more than 20 yards today. What's going on? Like, you know.
I mean, I honestly think there were play calling issues. Brian Callahan talked about after the game, he really had a hard time getting into a rhythm in terms of calling plays. And Dice, I mean, there was we talked about it earlier. There were 15 pressures, right? Like, so do you think they were scared to call 7-step drop, maybe even 5-step drop?
I think if you look at, I don't know if you guys saw it, but when, I think it was before that Superman or that Spider-Man throw, you could see Callahan on the sideline, you know, being frustrated. I think you've got to have the confidence in your quarterback to be able to make those throws. And, you know, the only time he went deep to Ridley, he missed him by a mile, and the ball was actually out. The ball was out. The ball wasn't even infield. So even if Ridley had got there, I don't know, they would have caught it in bounds. But my point is, he looked like the rookie today. I don't know what you guys think, but he looked like the rookie. I think Williams had a tough time.
Kevin Dyson started this show.
Yeah, Williams had a tough time today. Yeah, Williams had a tough time today, but he was so composed. This bloke, I mean, he's talking about mayonnaise and all this stuff that he has. What are you talking about? Like, today was awful. Now, the thing for me is, I've got to stay up and watch this junk And this is exactly what we had the last 2-3 years with Vrabel and Robinson and his, Petulant interviews and all the stuff. Well, the good news is I think looking at it, we looked a lot better. Unfortunately, when the collapse started, it just went downhill from there. And you just had a sneak feeling we're going to give this up. And not to take advantage of 150 yards, no TDs. And I don't know about you guys, but we just keep on breaking bad records. You look at the top 100 at the end of the season, and most of the highlights are against the Titans. And today we've gone on to break another record. The first rookie to win a game since David Carr. David Carr's about 90 years old. Like I don't get it, honestly. Like I don't want to wreck your show, but I hope this is better as we go along. But I'm looking at him today. I personally do not think is a legit NFL starter quarterback. The problem we have is what else are we going to give up to get a decent person? Because that wasn't good today. That was not good today.
Thank you, Michael.
And that's it. Yeah.
All right, we've got loaded lives, Michael. Thank you, man. I know you want to talk about venting. He had a lot to get off his chest.
He did. Well, he lost me when he started doing Superman and Spider-Man because those are two different universes.
Yeah.
You got to keep those separate.
Now, there was one movie, but anyway.
I give him credit. He's in London. I had to let him talk.
We definitely let him. From a big picture standpoint, though, they're going to find out if Levis is their guy this year. If he's not, they're going to draft one. I promise you.
Yeah.
New coaching staff.
Can't you find out this year whether Levis is the guy?
Unless it gets hurt.
I've always thought you could. And I had people argue with me all the time, say, well, no, you're going to have to give him more time. It's like, no, the people inside that building are paid to know that kind of stuff. Maybe we do not know. You probably know, but the people inside the building definitely should know by the end of the year whether he's the guy.
And Dice, the people inside that building didn't draft him.
This is true. The loyalty is not there.
Right. I mean, you want him to succeed because he's on a rookie deal.
Right.
So because he's on a rookie deal, if he succeeds, you've got 2 more years before you probably re-up him if he's that good, where you can throw money elsewhere, right?
We're 10 games in with him, though.
Yeah. We got time.
You got time.
That's the point you were trying to make. Yeah. He's still technically a rookie in terms of games played.
We have seen flashes of him being really, really good, right?
I just really expected more coming into this season. He sat here for an hour on 3HL, and one of the things he talked about was how much of a benefit it has been in the offseason to get all of the number 1 reps.
Mm-hmm.
That he didn't get that last year.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he's thrown into it, and it's much different this year.
Right.
Just didn't see it.
Well, second half, right? I mean, let's give him some kind of credit.
So when they were able to run the ball, and it wasn't 2nd and 10, 2nd and 9, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 9.
Bears were kind of sitting back. They didn't attack as much. I'm curious to see the PF stats on how much they brought pressure in the first half compared to second half. Because to your point earlier about being able to take vertical shots with your 5 or 7 step drops, that relies on people picking up pressure. And if he's being pressured 15 times today, and out of how many dropbacks?
He was pressured on 38.5% of his pass snaps.
See, we're talking about dang near 40% of your pass snaps, you got pressure.
And the other 60%, you're thinking you're going to get pressure.
You're going to get pressured. So, I mean, it's I know it's easy for us to be armchair quarterbacks right now and look at the things so we can see the field in totality. We got the advantage of TV screen and wide screens and stuff like that. It's a lot different when you got 320 chasing you from behind and you got guys in your face and you're trying to make throws and they're, oh, by the way, 2-4-3 guys running at full speed trying to cover one another. It's not an easy job. If it's not the hardest job in American sports, is one of the hardest jobs in America.
And he only saw a blitz on 8 of his 38 dropbacks.
Yeah, they were getting pressure with the front.
Yeah, they were getting pressure with 4 for the most part. And I thought another thing that they could have done to maybe help some of that out is do some play action. 13.2% of their passes were play action. That's way too low for Will Levis, I think.
What about quick game?
Yeah.
Get the ball in his hands fast. And that's why I was going with your point about drop back and 6 or 5 or 7 step drops. Mm-hmm. Just get the ball in his hands. Those
3-step, boom.
Boom. Do a slant.
Don't even read it. Just throw it.
Here you go. Get a chance. Get a rhythm going. And I think that helps with Callahan, too, in play call, being able to take shots if you have a rhythm. How my coaches always tell us how you beat a blitz is complete the pass or make them punish them for blitzing. Whether they have a run blitz and you gash them for a 20-yard run, or they blitz and you gash them for a side adjustment for a big play or a first down, they're not going to do that blitz anymore because you recognize it. They got to go to the next one.
Callahan said when he got the job, because similar situation in Cincinnati where, they could have gone after Burrow, they could have gone offensive tackle. They didn't. They went Jamar Chase. Mm-hmm. And he said the thinking is you can beat pressure from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Win in the man-to-man game on the outside. If they're going to blitz, you got man-to-man somewhere.
Yep.
Win that.
Get the ball off.
Yep. 615-737-1045. Time for the Kroger Sacks for Cash today. The Titans had 2 sacks, courtesy of Kroger for the season. Kroger's donation to send to Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee now stands at $900 thanks to the preseason. And the 2 today, courtesy of Sebastian Joseph Day and Harold Landry. Each guy had a sack every time the Titans sacked the opposing team's quarterback. Kroger donates $100 to Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee from Kroger through its Zero Hunger, Zero Waste plan. Kroger is committed to ending hunger in our communities. The other thing about, in terms of the defense, when you look at the numbers, they did have the 2 sacks. They also had 8 tackles for a loss. Roger McCrary had 3 of the 8. That dude played his butt off today.
Played his butt off.
He's turned into a great player,
this
man.
This defense looks like it's going to be something to beckon with all year long.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially when Ernest Jones gets more comfortable, too.
Yes. And as long as they can continue to apply pressure like they did today, that makes every secondary better, right?
Yep.
If you just in the quarterback's face, that right there. And Big Jeff's always going to command attention. But that rookie, he keeps playing like he is. Jeff's going to get one-on-ones. And then it's just after that point, it's not too many people can block him one-on-one consistently. So then now you're talking about a defense that's really hitting on all cylinders.
Sweat got in the backfield several times today.
Especially that first half. It was like, dang, this young kid figured some things out. And by the way, looking at the chat, Tannehill sighting.
Oh, yeah.
Sign Tannehill.
Sign Tannehill.
Is that what people are saying?
That's sarcasm by that one guy, though.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But there are people that are saying to do Ryan Tannehill.
Wouldn't it be funny if he ended up in Green Bay? Malik Willis would be like, "Are you kidding me right now?" 615-737-1045. I mean, it's funny enough that Malik Willis may start a game in Nissan Stadium.
It's crazy to think about it. And if he comes in here and wins, oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Who were you talking about that y'all lost to? Ryan Leaf?
Ryan Leaf.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Over at Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
I was there for that.
And I was thinking, because
that was
a
another game where there was like no offense.
Right. And that was a rookie quarterback. I think he was in a second star, I guess it was. The second game of the year. And he came out and we lost 13-7. And he wasn't spectacular. He's like 13 for 24. You know, Natron Means had a pretty decent day, but yeah, I ain't heard that name in a long time.
Natron Means business. Yeah.
But
North Carolina.
But they found a way to make plays, and we didn't. And the rookie found a way to get his first win.
615-737-1045. Justin in Nashville next up. Justin, what's up? How are you?
How y'all doing today?
Hey, good, man.
I just think it's funny how we keep talking about games played with Will Levis, but nobody gave that same benefit of the doubt for Malik Willis. I don't understand why Will Levis gets so many excuses, but y'all was ready to ship Malik up out of here. Matter of fact, I think Malik comes in here and beats the Tennessee Titans. I really do. And last question, y'all want Shador or Cam Ward? Because we got to draft a quarterback. Will Levis is not that guy.
I have never sent Will Levis to pasture. I mean, Malik Willis.
I just go by, and I want to hear your take on it, because from my perspective, I just go by what the football people that I know tell me, and they said Mason Rudolph was the number 2, and it wasn't close.
Yeah.
But what is your thought on him?
Malik Willis, you put him in Baltimore. He's Hutley. Hutley came in when Jackson went out. Hutley's from University of Utah. He comes in when he comes out and he still wins football games because it's offense that caters to his strengths. We try to make Malik Willis, and I think they did this with Mariota to a certain degree, make him just a Tom Brady, statuesque, stand back in there and make play quarterback. That's not his skill set. But when you saw his skill set, being able to make plays on the run, he dropped back time to time, play action, he looked really good. But you got to have a coordinator and a team that's willing to develop a guy like that, as we saw. Now, Lamar Jackson and people like him and Mike Vick and those guys, they're just different. but you surround them with to fit their skill set. You get a coordinator to fit their skill set, and look how successful they are. Malik came in and said, "No, you fit into our little box," and he had struggles. He was not.
So, do you think that was a weird draft pick then, based on what the offensive scheme was then?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was if you weren't willing to develop him with the skills he has.
Yeah.
Right? I think they thought he has some good skills. He's shown the capacity to sit back there in the pocket and make throws. But if you watch him throughout his college career, whether it be at Auburn or Liberty, he's a guy that was mobile and moved around. You know, zone schemes, zone read schemes, RPOs,
one read.
Yes, that type of offense. But you try to make him into a Ryan Tannehill, that's not going to work with him.
Philly behind Jalen Hurts.
That's another one that he might, because they have made that offense to fit Jalen Hurts' skill set.
They did.
If the Packers can't get anything out of Malik Willis that resembles quarterback play, I think we have our answer on Malik Willis. But I do agree with what you're saying, because when I was looking at those quarterbacks coming out of the draft, I labeled Malik Willis the philosophy changer. Like, you have to change your offensive philosophy if you're going to draft Malik Willis. And I really thought like a guy like Sam Howell would benefit, or Desmond Ridder would benefit more in the Titans offense as it currently was. But if you're going to draft Malik Willis, you need to change your system. Now, we saw a lot of issues with Malik Willis that just never went away. But I was of the opinion that, okay, it'd be nice if you could get Malik Willis on the practice squad, or even if you chose to keep Malik Willis as your quarterback 3, because he could be your quarterback 2 next year. Because I felt like he did show enough progress from year 1 to year 2 to year 3, even if it's marginal at best.
He did
that
get better.
He could be a quarterback 2 next year. But, you know, when the Packers had a horrible, you know, they ranked 32nd in their quarterback situation, backup quarterback. They trade for Malik Willis. You don't really, for a guy that's a borderline roster player, you got to take the 7th round pick.
Yeah.
But do I have any faith that Malik Willis is actually going to be I don't even know if he'll make it through week 2, because the first play of the game, he gets sacked. He does what Malik Willis does, and he holds onto the ball, and he got sacked in Green Bay. So I think the people that are thinking that Malik Willis is going to come in here and throw for 300 yards in a new system that he's still learning in week 3 they're just down in the dumps right now. We just got to keep it realistic. Keep it 100. Will Levis's 9 starts showed way more than Malik Willis did at any point during his career.
Better Titan syndrome, though. You know, Tennessee Titans fans are like, watch Malik Willis come in here and beat them. You know they're thinking that. 615-737-1045.
Oh, man.
Brian in Mount Juliet. Brian, what's up, man?
Hey, guys, thank you for taking. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks for taking my call. I'm here just to talk about the Titans defense today. They did great. They showed Caleb Williams what the NFL was about, all that preseason hype and all that, but they did a great job, and I just think the guys did great today. We had a couple of tough breaks, and, you know, it is what it is. It's week 1, but here we go. Let's get ready for the next week.
There you go, Brian. Thank you. First positive call today.
Yeah, and I appreciate him for that. And similar to what the Bears did today, games played in thirds, right? Keep saying that. Special teams didn't do their part either. And they're getting a pass because we like to talk about offense and defense. But special teams didn't do their part. As special teams stepped up, flipped the
10
field.
points.
Exactly. And what if they flipped the field on big kick return? I thought Jackson was tiptoeing more than I saw him in the preseason.
Looked nervous.
Yeah, a little bit. He wasn't attacking gaps like he did in the preseason.
Well, I also felt like there were times where Jaquan should just take the knee, take the 30.
Yeah, that's it.
I do want to bring that up in the 5 o'clock hour, the whole kickoff philosophy, because a couple weeks ago I saw a story where a writer talked to a head coach anonymously. And the head coach said, we're just going to kick it in the end zone, give them the 30-yard line until we figure out what the league is doing here. And you've seen that from a lot of people. And, you know, Jackson brought 2 out from the end zone.
Yeah.
Where he got the 20 and got short of the 20.
Yeah.
And then you're just giving 10 yards.
And then Titans were short, kicked in that got a return zone, and they gave up a 66-yarder.
Right. And so I felt like the Titans were going to do that and challenge people and go cover, but I wonder if that changes now.
I've been saying it since week 1 of the preseason.
Take the 30.
Philosophically, what do? This is going to be a game changer for a lot of people. Now, if you're in the playoffs, do you just kick it out of the end zone, give them the 30? Who's the quarterback? Because you give somebody at the 30 already, like a Aaron Rodgers or Jared Allen or whoever.
Well, if you're in the playoffs, you're playing
or
somebody
Mahomes.
like that.
Mahomes or somebody. You're going to give them about the 30 already? And they just need a field goal? Wait, if I kick it short and I return, they go for 66 yards. Dang. You know what I'm saying? But if I try to kick it too hard, it goes out of bounds. Oh my gosh! Now it's at the 30. It's you got to be very strategic. I think, to your point, Brent, what these coaches are saying, I think you kick it out the end zone and give them the ball at the 30 and play ball and try to eliminate. But this is an offensive league. It's hard to stop a Mahomes from the 30 to the 30. That's all he needs to get to the field goal range, right? That's all he needs.
35.
Yeah, that's hard. So I played Super Bowl 38 with Tom Brady. We kicked the ball out of bounds right after we took the lead, gave Tom Brady a short field. He needed a field goal to win the football game. That's what he did.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very strategic. We'll see how they manage this throughout the season, because that's going to be something the Titans are going to evaluate now too, considering what happened at the end of the first half.
I'm glad you hit on that. When we come, we'll be here until 6:30. Titans Talk Back, presented by Lee Company. Your opportunity to vent for sure. All lines are currently loaded. We'll go back to the phones nonstop during this show. This is for you. 615-737-1045. Your opportunity to vent. Titans Talkback presented by Lee Company. All you need, visit Lee Company online at leecompany.com, 615-737-1045. That one stung. Titans fall to the Bears 24-17 without giving up a touchdown to the Bears offense. Pretty amazing. Brent Dougherty, Zach Lyons from Zach and Blaine. You guys are killing it 1-3, man. Glad to have you on board.
Oh, man, this has been a dream. I've had like the best 2 weeks ever. Just talking football. I just love talking sports.
That's it. And I do want to remind everyone that you have an opportunity tomorrow to let it out if you don't get in today, or maybe if you do get in today and you want to redo tomorrow. RK Dub, 6 to 10. The Buck Rising Show with Buck and Lucas from 10 to 1. Blaine and Zach from 1 to 3, and 3HL from 3 until 6 o'clock. We've got you covered tomorrow on 104.5 The Zone. 615-737-1045. That's a tough one, man. And when you're talking about positivity, Dice,
yeah,
because we've been through the offensive woes, 4 first downs in the second half, 25 yards rushing, 40 yards passing, like. We've been through that, and we will continue to go through that. We haven't spent a lot of time on what you saw with the defense, and I want to get your take on what they were able to do. They held the Bears to 148 total yards. You should win a football game when you do that.
I thought the secondary played well. They didn't give very much glimmers of light between cloth. They were surrounding their receivers. I thought Caleb was inaccurate, which was not something you expect from him. He missed
looked uncomfortable.
He did.
And you credit the Titans front seven for that.
And I was getting to them. I felt like, man, between Jeff, Sweat, Landry, the guys, Arden, they got after the quarterback today. He blitzed a lot. Denard blitzed a little bit, not a lot. He blitzed a little bit. I'll be curious how much.
Less than I thought he would.
Me too. And they were still able to play coverage. I thought Hooker looked good.
Yeah.
I felt like defensively, they played winning football, obviously. And I think that's the conversation everybody's having right now. Even Coach Mack said it before, just if your defense plays that caliber, you're going to win more often than you're going to lose. But it is 3 facets of the game, and you lost 2 of them. And it's hard to win any game, any football game, any level, if you lose 2 facets of the game. If you lose offense and special teams, it'd be hard to win at any level. But this is the pro game, and that first half, special teams called a wash because of that big return, but the second half, they definitely lost. Defensively, I thought they played kind of a complete game throughout. Just to your point earlier, just play mistake-free football. Don't turn it over. Don't give up the block punt. All the different things, and they win this football game. They may win it 17-3. I don't think they're really going to score if you don't do those things.
Yeah, so they blitzed 30.3% of the time on his dropback. So that was 10 out of his 33 dropbacks. That'd be 10.
10 times. Yep.
And he was 2 for 9 for 8 yards and 22.2% completion percentage. Caleb Williams was. So I mean, the plan worked.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
what in my opinion, what you saw was a little bit more that taking the best from every stop that Denard Wilson's been and putting it all into one game, and it was making Caleb Williams have to read the defense, have to find where to go to play at the speed of the game that he's not used to, playing at. And they made him uncomfortable because they kept pushing the pocket, and sometimes they only generated 11 pressures, which I thought was a little low compared to what we saw in the game. But they pushed the pocket. So sometimes, when you push the pocket, you're not really pressuring, but you're making things uncomfortable for Caleb Williams. And that's what they set out to do, to disguise stuff, make him uncomfortable back there. And the defense lived up to everything that they have talked about all offseason and what they talked about leading into this game all week. They lived up to their end of the bargain. Yeah. And, the offense and special teams did not.
They played well enough to win. Yes, you're right. So if offense and special teams plays a clean game, Titans win easily.
Yeah.
615-737-1045. Linda is in the borough. Linda, what's going on? How are you?
Well, I'm disappointed.
Yep.
I'm not mad. And I'm still very optimistic about the season. That's the way I roll about my Titans.
What do you think about the Jets coming in this weekend?
The same as I think about every team coming in. I'm optimistic about my Titans.
I love it, Linda.
And Kevin,
Yes, ma'am.
I have something to say to you. Every time I rewatch the Super Bowl, by God, I'm convinced you're going to make it over, and we're going to go into a tie.
Yeah, me too. Oh, that would have been fun.
Thank you, Linda. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I asked Jeff Fisher one time, because I never heard him answer this question in 20 years. Would you have gone for 2?
He said no.
He said no. He said they would have gone overtime.
But I think that's the right move. I think we had the momentum. We had the energy. Literally, Kurt Warner had one completion in the fourth quarter, 70-something yard touchdown to Isaac Bruce. That's his only completion in the fourth quarter.
And that's when Blaine went out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, yes, and the overtime rules were different.
Yeah.
So you guys win the toss. You hit him in the mouth.
I think we win.
You know what's unfortunate about that, too? And this pass was also thrown to you. Steve McNair beating Kevin Carter.
Yeah.
That would have been one of the most iconic Super Bowl plays ever.
Mm-hmm.
The way he stayed alive and then
Kevin
found
Carter
you.
And it was one of the guys, nearly 600 pounds, hanging on 200-300 pounders on him.
And he just shrugged it off and delivered
hit
the
a play.
football.
Sure did. That was a play before the last play.
Exactly.
Yep. Hey, so sorry, we got a little tangent, but let me go back to this.
This happens with you sitting in the room sometimes. It just does.
But I'm looking at this Titan schedule again, talking about. I don't care if they went 15-1. This one's going to hurt. But let's look at what's coming up: Jets, Packers, Dolphins, Colts, Bills, and Lions. It eases up with the Patriots because we don't know what they look like yet, right? Rookie coach. Still don't know if the rookie quarterback's going to play. I know they named Bissett, but, we'll see by that point in week 9 what they look like. That could be rough if they don't figure some things out offensively.
Especially because of J.C. Latham, right? I mean, listen, it wasn't all bad for J.C. Latham. And in fact, this is kind of the game that you should expect from a rookie left tackle. Is a very up and down game. They had 3 carries for over 40 yards over on the left side, so he's really good in the run game. But he was up and down in the pass game, and that's bound to happen. And he's going up against Montez Sweat next week. Is going to be like Bryce Huff and that entire Jets defense. Then you got Rashawn Gary coming up, and like you got everybody you're seeing that first 8 weeks is going to have pass rushers that are going to give J.C. Latham a trial by fire. Yeah. But as long as he doesn't look terrible in both the run game and the pass game, and he just is a roller coaster ride, that's still a good thing and a good experience for your left tackle.
Remember Womack, the big guy from
Chance
Alabama?
Womack.
Yeah. Womack?
He bet against himself.
Yeah. But
you know that story?
No.
He took an insurance policy out in case his second contract was less than his first.
I should have done that crap. Dang it.
So I always say he bet against himself, and then it was, and he cashed in.
Yeah, that's pretty smart. That's actually very intelligent because you never know, injury happens and everything.
That's right.
But remember, his thing was he was solid in the run game.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't pass protect, couldn't move, and I'm not saying that yet. Yeah. There's still some time, but to your point, he's been very solid in the run game. We've seen some kinks or whatever you want to call them in the pass game. He's got to figure out.
Yep. At least he's got Bill Callahan there to coach him. Like, if this isn't, Jason Hoteling or Keith Carter, it's actually, the best. Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah.
And so, like, the mistakes that you saw are you're probably not going to see again. You're probably going to see new mistakes.
Yeah.
But that's the big thing about Bill Callahan. If you keep repeating the same mistakes, you're not going to be starting the game. So that's something about Bill Callahan that he's been very vocal about.
I think he's got to be aware, too, what he's putting on tape. And here's what I mean by that. D linemen watch what moves I can do on a guy. Does he set too fast? Is he too wide a base? Does he show his hands too quick? They watch that kind of thing. He needs to be doing the same type of thing. Like, on 3rd and long, he's going to give me speed rush. On 3rd and medium, he likes to do this. Like, he needs to start studying on the other side of it. I know right now, he could be. Right now, you're like, I just want to know what the heck I'm supposed to do on every play. But you got to also take that to another level of now I got to evaluate each player that I may be going against. You can go 2-3 deep, especially they're going to attack you with different D linemen, and knowing some of their favorite moves and things like that, because they're watching him right now. They're watching his feet. They're watching his hands. They're watching his hips. They're seeing if he's giving some tails. Oh, that's a pass play right there. I know that. They're watching all that stuff, especially veterans. And that's what the advantage of veterans when they get against the young guy. Young guys just, let me make sure I know what I'm doing, and I'll go off my ability that got me here.
Yeah.
Where a veteran is like, I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to use the smarts. I'm going to use the athletic. I'm going to use the ability that got me here, but I'm also going to play the game smart and find advantages throughout wherever I can find them. Find some kind of weakness I can take advantage of.
I watched 300 college football games on Saturday, so I don't remember which quarterback this was, but I noticed pretty quickly that when his left foot under center, when his left foot was behind his right foot, he handed it off every single time. And if it wasn't, he dropped back to throw.
I bet you some D coordinator was like, here it comes.
Yeah. I mean, if I can see it. 615-737-1045. Chris in Lewisburg. Chris, what's up?
Hey, guys.
Hey, man.
That was a hard one to watch.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
You know, the only bright spot, of course, was the defense. But to be honest, it was a bad first outing for Brian Callahan. You know, some of the play calling was suspect. Denard Wilson had his unit ready. But offense, he didn't make any adjustments to accommodate for the Bears' pass rush in the second half. I mean, I didn't see any one-step, 3-step drops and bang, get rid of it. That's what he should have been doing instead of dropping back 5-7 steps. And then on that missed touchdown to Ridley, one more step to his right, and he would have led Ridley into the end zone. But all of Levis's weaknesses showed out today. Mm-hmm. He didn't feel the pressure. Like I said, one more step to the right, he would have had a clear shot to Ridley. And then his touches over the middle, he's a little suspect on his accuracy. And then how many times has he been told over and over and over, quit taking useless shots to your body?
Yep.
This is the first game of the season. I remember Vrabel harping on that, said we showed him films of quarterbacks getting killed, and this is what's going to happen to you. And then on top of that, he thinks he can play hero ball with these stupid flips and I mean his competitive nature right now is a liability, and it's got me worried because he thinks he can pull off a miracle, but he wasn't the one that lost the game. Special teams blunders was horrific. I mean, it was like watching one of Vrabel's teams the last couple of years. You remember that 2 years ago they led the NFL in the worst scoring offense in the second half. And I think the last couple of years they've only averaged 17 points a game. So it looked almost like watching last year.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. I think that was a very fair phone call.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, I think what he brought up about the Bears adjusting, because I felt like Brian Callahan had no counterpunch, and that's something that he's kind of talked about, on all of his little podcast stops and everything, talking about the offseason, talking about what he does and everything, and he talked about having a counterpunch, a backup plan if your first plan doesn't go well. And it seemed like he only had one plan, and so I was kind of a little disappointed. And listen, Brian Callahan, and I've talked about this a few times, Brian Callahan, Denard Wilson, they've been in the league a long time, but they are both essentially rookie play callers. Yeah. So they are rookies in their own rights, and this is something that he's also probably going to kick himself in for not calling certain plays. Why did I call an end around to Treylon Burks that never works out in any coaching regime? There's some of the stuff that he did, and the ability to not find a way to get your team into a rhythm is something that he will learn with time, because he's studying play callers. He studies Matt LaFleur and Sean McVay and all these guys. So it's something that's going to happen. Again, week one is a notorious liar. I mean, we got the Steelers winning. The Patriots won today. It beat the Bengals.
How about Notre Dame wins at Texas A&M and then loses to Northern Illinois as a 27.5-point favorite?
Exactly. Like, week one's a liar. And I put out there, it's like, hey, week one's a liar. But I got to see it's if you're going to prove them wrong, you got to prove it. It's not going to be given to you.
Yeah.
I'll say this, like Matt LaFleur. Remember when he was here and his first time calling plays, we were like, what is this? This is terrible. But he was being handcuffed some by Vrabel too. Vrabel being a defensive-minded coach probably handcuffed him a little bit.
Vrabel's on that headset.
But right, you know what I'm saying? But his first year in Green Bay, he becomes a head coach. He struggled a little bit because he had to learn Aaron Rodgers. But once he figured some things out, what Aaron Rodgers liked, and marinated that with his game and what he wanted to do and what Aaron Rodgers is strong at, he became a great play caller. Now he's known as one of the best play callers in the game currently.
Yep.
And I'm saying that all to say Callahan doesn't get where he's at, but without having a brain, a football mind, an offensive creative mind. He was part of that process. He may not have called the game, but he's a part of that process. And he's, again, to your point, he's got to learn that process and become a McVay, a LaFleur, or whoever that has taken time. Because McVay he didn't become a great play caller until he moved away.
Right.
He got his own job. So it's going to take some time to get there. And I'm going to be devil's advocate to the defense. As much as we talk about how good the defense is it how good they played versus that rookie quarterback that struggled.
Yeah.
So the true testament would be we got a veteran quarterback. You all disguising and moving around in the secondary. Aaron Rodgers seen it all. Are you going to be doing all that stuff and he gas you? So again, I'm saying that to say it's a long season. We can't be too high, too low with the offense or the defense because it's a long year. And these matchups create problems. Quarterbacks, difference in quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is a lot different than Caleb Williams. Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Famer. Caleb Williams is just starting. So are you going to show the same blitz to Aaron Rodgers? I bet you not. He's not going to miss those throws that Caleb Williams did, right?
Right.
And my man, the receiver over there at Jets, I forget his name.
Garrett Wilson?
Yes. The dude can run now. He's a player now.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying, of course, I love Chicago's receivers too. I've loved Allen since he's been in the league, but I love their guys too. But I'm just saying.
DJ Moore.
Yeah. These guys, Aaron Rodgers is a lot different. And we're high on this defense right now, rightfully so, because they played winning football. But it's still a long season. And to your point, two different rookie play callers on both sides of the ball. What does that look like when you have an Aaron Rodgers or an Allen or who else they got coming up? Shoot, they got everybody coming up. My man Stroud is an elite quarterback already. You know, they got some people to worry about.
Oh, the list of quarterbacks that they face is ridiculous. We went through that on 3HL the other day.
Yeah,
I mean, it's absolutely crazy. 615-737-1045. Let's talk about that, adjustments or lack thereof when we come back. Also, all lines are loaded. We'll go back to the phones. Offer you guys the opportunity, as we do after every game, to vent positively or negatively. Titans Talk Back. Presented by Lee Company. The Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company to tackle their HVAC, plumbing, and electrical problems. They can protect your home, too. Your next play? Visit LeeCompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. Lee Company, Titans Talk back. Again, the zone will be active tomorrow. Nuclear active. Listen all day long. Titans Talk back after every Titans game. Today you've got Brent Dougherty, Zach Lyons, Kevin Dyson, the doctor. How are things over at Centennial?
Going well, man. Having a good year, good start to the year. You know, football's doing okay. I think we gave one away with Franklin, but that's football. You play your rival, anything can happen.
You educating some kids over there?
Trying to. We trying.
Are you the kind of administrator that kids don't want to go see when they get in trouble? Oh no, I don't want to go see Dr. Dyson.
Yes and no. I think I have relationships enough with them that they know I'm not going to be judgmental. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
But they also know I can say what I need to say. Put it that way.
I love it. If you're new to the show or new to the station, Zach Lyons joined 104.5 The Zone not too long ago. You can hear him 1 to 3 with Blaine Bishop. And that's been a fun show to listen to.
Yeah, it's been great. Going back and forth with Blaine is a trip. He's awesome. I always learn something new every day about football and the game of football. And that's, kind of my mentality is like I want to ask questions and probe and learn and, maybe provide a different viewpoint of certain things. But I'm there to learn because I think if I'm learning something, then the listeners will learn something.
Blaine's a great storyteller too.
Yeah.
We were talking about tells in football and like you want to go back and watch some of the offensive line and see if there's some patterns there. And they all do that, right? Like self-evaluation and all those things because you don't want to do that. But I remember one of my favorite Blaine Bishop stories is Blaine saying that you guys were playing the Colts in Indianapolis, and Blaine was lined up tight on a receiver, and he's looking, and he said Peyton was looking at his feet.
Mm-hmm.
You know this story?
Yeah.
He said Peyton was looking at Blaine's feet, and it took him a couple snaps, and then he realized he's on to me. He's like Blaine said he didn't even know that he was doing this until he sat there and thought about why is Peyton looking at my feet. So then the gamesmanship between those two, so Blaine would start to change how he was standing.
That's awesome.
Blaine's
memory is incredible.
It's incredible.
Well, he says he has a photographic memory.
Yeah. I totally agree with that.
It's
I've worked with that guy a long time. You played with him.
Yeah, and he'll tell me stuff, and I was involved, and I'm like, oh, that happened? He's got a great memory. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's the stuff that he is able to communicate effectively for people to easily understand is just, it's just awesome.
Yeah, he told another story, and he tells these stories much better than I do. But when he went to Philly, his defense coordinator, they were getting ready to play Peyton Manning. And Blaine was like, look, if we run this defense, this is exactly what Peyton's going to do. This is what they're going to do, blah, 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 all this stuff. And the DC was like, nah, man, we're going to run our stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then he shredded them. And Blaine was like, I told you.
I tell you. Man, listen to a veteran, man.
Yeah.
That's why you got him.
That and the there's so many. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'll get back to it. 615-737-1045. Bears win 24-17. I know, you guys as professional athletes are so good. I'm this way too. You move on to the next thing. Whatever that thing was, you move on to the next thing. Good, bad, whatever. This one, though, you said earlier, this one's going to sting.
You're looking at the schedule as we talked about. I was looking at the schedule when you think about the quarterbacks that they're facing.
It's a gauntlet.
This one is one of those ones where optimism and all those things are high, and you have a rookie quarterback that's struggling. He missed throws. They really didn't run the ball at all. You had a 17-point head start. Just at that point, you just don't mess it up. And then that's exactly what they did. They messed it up. All you got to do is just, I think, Brent, you said it, just don't turn the ball over. Just punt. Just play field position. Because I don't think they weren't going to move the ball. They may have gotten one more drive out of that. I think they had one statistical good drive the whole day.
They had one drive where they kicked a field goal.
Yeah. But other than that,
fielding a punt and driving the football.
Yeah. Other than that, they may get one more out of that because it's NFL and it's offensive football, and you're gonna make some plays. Where my defense have been playing, I just say, defense, get us home. Get us home.
That has to be the message on the sideline too to Will Levis. Look, man, hey, take the sack, throw it away, don't do anything
Our
crazy
defense
because our
playing well.
defense is playing well.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to. So you had the pick six, touchdown. You had the block punt, touchdown. You had the 66-yard kickoff return where the defense got the stop, but they got so deep, field goal.
Got a field goal.
And then the fumble, again, happened on minus territory.
Yeah.
Plus territory for them, field goal, even though the defense got the stop. So,
And you got to remember the blocked punt was the first drive of the second half for the Tennessee Titans.
Right.
So that right there was the big momentum shift.
To me, it was
after
the
the
return.
After the Bears,
return, and then start off and come second half to that.
But the Bears got the ball first in the second half and went 3 and out. So then at 17-3, you held. They spent all halftime talking about that drive, and you just got them off the field in 3 plays.
Yep.
And then you bought punt, touchdown, ball. I mean, they're in it at that point.
Yep.
So based on all those things, that's 21 of the 24 points. Just play clean football.
Yeah.
So I wrote down on my sheet a question because I know you love analytics, and I wanted to ask you about this. So the missed deep ball to Ridley led to a 4th down and 3 situation at the Bears' 35-yard line.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, do you go? Do you kick the field goal? Do you punt? What's kind of going on there? They end up that's when they spread Latham out.
Yeah.
And threw to Tyler Boyd, who reached across, got the first down. 4th and 3 on the 35. You're kind of in between there in terms of Nick Folk range. Was that the smart play to do analytically?
Yeah, but it's with the caveat is that it's kind of like the Ravens game the other night where they went for 4th and 3 at their 50. It's all about who you're playing against. So if you are playing against Mahomes, maybe I take the points. Playing Caleb Williams and seeing what they have been able to do on offense, which is very little,
right?
I'm willing to take that risk.
Okay, I got you.
Because to me, it's about the play too. The play worked. It barely worked, but it worked. And that's all that matters. Whereas with the Ravens, the play would have worked had the wide receiver blocked the right guy.
Oh, yeah.
And instead, he just let Trent McDuffie come right through.
Yeah.
And so, but there you're talking about the difference between putting Patrick Mahomes maybe at 25, 21 yards, near his own end zone and having to go the length of the field. And your defense was playing really well. And this defense was playing really well. So I'm sure the analytics, the little bots and everything that come up with whether it's a time to go for it or not, probably said go for it, but we're probably talking about like a 2.6 win percentage increase. But you take that play, love the play design. It worked effortlessly because, you see a play like that sometimes another offense probably would have got a penalty.
Yeah.
Because they hardly ever practice. That was a play that they were confident in.
Yeah.
I think that was probably one of their 2-point plays that they had put in.
Yeah.
So when you were playing, how many 2-point plays would you guys have available, like in a game plan?
That's a good question. I want to say 2 to 3.
2 or 3.
2 to 3, and you go back to it. And some you don't even get to because you're doing something in the game so well that you can get 3 yards doing whatever that was that you don't even go back to the well and to your 2-point play. But I think situationally, if you look at we're talking about Baltimore, Kansas City, there was no hesitation from Harbaugh. He said, go for 2. Then he had something, he said pocket. He was like, we got a winner. We're going to get these 2 points. And so I could see something like that where, I'm not going to give Mahomes a chance in overtime to win this game. We're going to finish this off right here. So, but yeah, we probably 2 to 3.
Yeah. You don't need extra possessions from Patrick Mahomes, especially at home.
Exactly.
615-737-1045 is the number. At 3HL1045 is the Twitter. I just did it. You talked about it during the break. I hadn't done it yet.
He put it in your head, man.
Put it in my head. Let's go to Jeremy in Nashville. Jeremy, what's up, man? Yo, Jeremy.
Oh, there you are. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah,
there you are.
Yeah, I had y'all on mute. I'd sitting there waiting for so long. I'm going to touch on a couple of things y'all were talking about. You was talking about people who take insurance out on them, on themselves. Willis McGahee done it right before that national championship.
Oh, did
game.
he?
Yeah.
Yeah, where he blew out his knee, and so maybe you should have done that, Dyson. And then you were talking about
college. I did.
Yeah, a lot of guys in college do it. I just thought it was funny that a pro did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you were talking about nature on means. Lorenzo Neal blocked for him too. Lorenzo blocked for a lot of guys. But everybody's talking about trading Levis, and these guys don't make, decisions based off emotions. They're going to let the thing run its course before they start trying to, look otherwise for another quarterback. They're just not going to, sell it down the river on what was he say, like 8 or 9 starts. Yeah. That's not going to work. And he was talking, and you've already touched on what I was going to bring up about, the 3 facets of the game. You can't win like that, lose 2 of them and then think that, your offense is going to, recover from such a bad performance. And to me, it sounds like you end up with a lot of situations like before, like Mike Mularkey was the coach and Terry Robisky was the offensive coordinator. A lot of those teams, they couldn't move the ball anywhere, and those defenses held them in games, and they were out there, defense out on the field 80% of the time when time of possession with the other team's offense on the field, you're not going to win. So, they've got to do better. And, as far as the Titans fans wanting to sell them, keep your powder dry, like what Coach Dave always says. And then something good to leave on next week when they're playing the Jets. Todd Downing is their offensive passing games coordinator, so I'll take my chances against him. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good
against him, but Aaron Rodgers is a little bit different.
Yeah, you can say that Nathaniel Hackett's the offensive coordinator and the Todd Downing is the passing game coordinator, but we all know Aaron Rodgers is the offensive coordinator. Like when Peyton Manning was, he was technically the offensive coordinator.
Titans Talkback presented by Lee Company. All you need, visit Lee Company online at leecompany.com. 615-737-1045 is the number. Let's go to Liam out there in Nashville. Liam, what's up?
Hey, man, you so quick thing. This is a beautiful day that our secondary was not the issue. First time in about a decade.
That's a great point.
I've got tears of joy rolling down my face. But I do want to say this, though. We did not – nobody said anything about Kenneth Murray, which is a good thing. People were worried about him being an issue within the defense, maybe not being able to lead the defense. I think he did a great job. And I do want to give a shout-out to Sebastian Joseph Day. I feel like he's solid and is going to be our Autry, who maybe not be the flashiest name, but I think he's going to be a consistent piece to our defense throughout this year, helping out. So just want to give those 2 notes, but hopefully we'll get him next week. We'll see if we can deal with Aaron Rodgers.
Thank you, Lee. Appreciate it.
Great call.
Yeah, Greg Cosell loves Sebastian Joseph Day. And, he showed up. I mean, he had a sack.
He showed up on 19 defensive snaps. So that's 19 less than Tavondre Sweat, keep in mind. And I think there was 56 total snaps to go around. He only played 19. And he made those 19 count.
I was going to say he probably had a very effective rating, I guess.
Yeah.
615-737-1045. Let's go to Chad in Smithville next up. Chad, what's up?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yo.
Hey, I was just curious. A lot of people blame Will Levis, but I thought the play calling was kind of terrible, especially from the first half to the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a lot of things went wrong. So they were able to run the ball in the first half, which sets up second and more manageable situations, third and more manageable situations.
But you're across the 50. You cross the 50, and you call in the round Kyle Phillips across the 50.
No, it was Traylon Burks. Kyle Phillips was on the Eagles practice squad. But yes.
Oh, okay.
But no.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. I just it's harder as a play caller to find a rhythm when it's second and long, third and long all the time.
Right, and I get that.
And that's one of the things. Thank you, Chad. That's one of the things that we brought up earlier. So at halftime, the Titans had, 125 yards rushing, something like that?
115 at halftime.
115 at halftime. So Bears defense coordinator Eric Washington adjusted.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys were talking about Brian Callahan appeared to not have that counter punch. That's what it looked like, eyeball test. I have to go back and watch the game again before we go on the air tomorrow. But that's kind of what it looked like to me, is that he didn't have a counter punch in the second half, and that Eric Washington did.
Well, he gave 4 carries to Tyjae Spears in the first half, but no carries in the second half, right? Dyson, isn't that what you said?
Yep.
And,
yes,
to me, that's a little crazy. But, again, we talk about this Tennessee Titans offense and 3 and outs. Some of those 3 and outs were caused by maybe a -1 rushing attempt. Now, the other ones were like 2, 3 yards on first down. Well, that's not an efficient run game. And he preached all week about efficiency in the run game. And it seemed like, well, first half game plan worked. Let's keep using the first half game plan instead of saying, okay, well, now they've figured us out. They figured out our tells. let's just keep on doing what we're doing and hope that it works. Well, when you put yourself in these long situations, and we saw this all the time, whether it was Ryan Tannehill, Malik Willis, didn't matter who was quarterback, when you're inefficient on first down in the run game and you put yourself behind the sticks in second and third down and then penalties on top of that put you even further behind the sticks, it's really hard for a quarterback to get to the first down because everybody knows you're passing. Everybody knows what the game plan is, and when you have a bad offensive line, and I won't say bad, when you have an offensive line that's given up pressures, it's really hard to do.
How about they were very inconsistent?
Yeah, I think that's the better word.
And let's go with they struggled in the second half.
Yeah, it's going to be a long week at St. Thomas Sports Park in that little quarterback office and everything. It's going to be a long week, and it needs to be. Hopefully, they are able to just let it all roll off of them. Tomorrow is a new day. They come in, they watch the film, they break it down, and fix the mistakes this week.
How hard is it to do that, Dice? And is an opener different? Like an opener like this, you've had all offseason to ramp up to this opportunity to go do this, and then that happens. Like, is it harder to get over that and to flush it?
No, not in the NFL. Pretty much on that play ride home, you go and you're over it until you watch film. Then it's never as good as you thought it was. It's never as bad as you thought it was. And you make those corrections. You're like, shoot, if I just don't this block, it's a big play. Or shoot, if I just catch that, or whatever it might be, you look at it like, oh, we're not as bad as we think I thought it was. Or dang, shoot, I was lucky on that play. I'm not as good as we thought we were. So it's usually somewhere in the middle, right? So, but you have to get over it pretty quick, because come Wednesday, you're off to the next one.
Yeah. I mean, Aaron Rodgers coming in here.
Yeah. Monday,
you can't let one loss turn into two.
You can't.
And so, is it maybe easier because, like, my selling point would be, look, man, if we clean this up, we win that game. So, that's what we need to. We need to make sure that we're locked in on special teams. Will, you need to make better decisions.
Yeah. We'd have, like, I'll use Jeff Fisher because he did this a lot.
Yeah.
If we had a tough loss like that, sometimes when we had our team meeting on Monday or even Wednesday, he would show stuff like that. Like, look, guys, we're right here. We're close. Because think about it. This game was a one-possession game. It's only 7 points. Most of the NFL is a one-possession game. We're talking about 3 to 7 points where you're right there in the game.
And we're talking about 4 plays.
That's it. So it's not like they got blown out. That's a whole different ball game. We're talking about 44-17. That's to a rookie quarterback. This is
really 3 plays.
3 plays.
No, 4. 4. Yeah, kick return.
Kick return too. We're talking about 4 plays that those don't happen. We're having a different kind of conversation. We're still talking about what offense didn't look spectacular, but we won. Now we're talking about they didn't look spectacular and we lost. And special teams was not. So they were subpar and we lost. You know what I mean? So it's like, you look at the film, you evaluate yourself, you try to get better. As an individual player, you watch the film, you try to get better. As a group, you look at the things that you can correct it. Bad communication, missteps. I got to kick back further. I got to talk to my tackle a little quicker. I got to check out of this play, get us in a better situation. I got to get my release better on the outside. You start looking at different things, how you can get better. And we do these things. Oh, man, that's a first down. Oh, man, that's a touchdown. And so it becomes habitual as far as you play the game, you go on a plane, you think about it, you reflect, but you got to move on pretty quick.
It's like when you talked about it's just like it's 4 plays, right? So we're talking about the punting, the block to punt, the momentum shifter. Well, there were 6 total punts. 1 of them were blocked. And 5 other times, everybody did their job.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Jack Gibbons was the one that was getting pushed through, and that's his guy that went through and blocked. But he handled that guy 5 other times. So it's NFL, sometimes just 1 play.
1 play.
I felt like Dr. Gibby, too, like, was doing he knew he was beat, and he was holding, like, he was trying to hold. And they didn't call it. I mean, he definitely held.
He came through.
But he still got past
But again, to that point, they saw something. They looked at that film or that sheet on the sidelines and were like, this is how we're going to attack this next punt.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they did it. And they made an adjustment, and they took advantage of something they saw in that moment and got a block.
Yep.
Titans talk back. Karen and Frank will lead us off when we come back. If you want in, there are lines open. 615-737-1045. Your opportunity to vent. Brent Dougherty, Zach Lyons, the Dr. Kevin Dyson. The Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company to tackle their HVAC, plumbing, and electrical problems. They can protect your home, too. Your next play, visit LeeCompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. 615-737-1045. Three until 1045. The Zone is on tomorrow from 3 until 6 o'clock. That is a true story. Blaine and Zach is on from 1 to 3 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Buck Rising with Lucas on 10 to 1 tomorrow. I'm going backwards. And RK Dub, 6 to 10. You could start your Monday off with them. and we'll get you covered with regard to the Titans and Bears, and then we'll all move on toward the Jets, I guess, at some point. Also, lots to talk about in the world of college football tomorrow, too. Tennessee with a huge win, 51-10.
That's a big win.
NC State.
Yeah.
That in dominating form.
Some of those NC State fan sites were going at Slay, were going at me, and then it's funny, like after the game, they
quiet.
They weren't any tweets.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I might have been trolling them last night. Had some fun with that. Again, Bears win 24-17. You've got some ridiculous stats.
Yeah, so this is from the 33rd team on Twitter.
Great site.
Quarterbacks in the last 30 years to have 25-plus pass attempts, under 100 passing yards, a yards per attempt under 3.2, 0 touchdowns, and still win a football game. Caleb Williams, end of list.
Wow.
I mean, what else can we do but laugh?
Again, history being made by the Titans.
Unfortunately.
Just the wrong side of history.
Just the wrong side of it. I'm saying this one is going to hurt. I mean, again, we ran down the schedule, the next 6, 7, 8 games, and that's not including the fact you play Houston twice, Colts twice, Jags twice.
Right.
It's just the non-conference or non-divisional games is enough. This is going to hurt because you had the 17-point lead and they did absolutely nothing.
Just play clean football.
That's it.
Play clean football. And you're talking about a team. You're not talking about a team that's going to go 13-4. I mean, let's be real. So you're talking about a team that is probably 1 or 2 games at best from making it into the playoffs.
They're going to be in a hunt for the number 1 pick overall.
This game right here will keep them out of the playoffs. Yeah. Like it could. I mean, you just get down there and they get like 9-8, and you needed to be 10-7. This was the game.
It's the one. That's what I say. This one's going to come back and haunt you. It's not even Halloween yet.
We're going to talk about it all year, aren't we?
Yep. That's that one game. Because, I mean, and it's right for the taking. A rookie quarterback, his first game, their struggles.
Did not play well.
I mean, even Keenan Allen hadn't played much in the preseason because of his heel. He might be done again. Like, there's a lot of things. And I'm just talking about the offense side of the ball because the defense did their part. All you got to do is not mess it up on the offense and special teams. Not giving them a pass either, but all you got to do is not mess it up on the offense and you win that game.
You know, it's interesting, too, because Keenan Allen got hurt on a ball that should not have been thrown to him.
That should not have been thrown.
He dropped the ball in the shotgun. He was going to go quick game to the left to Adunze. Then he has to recalibrate, throws it deep. Keenan Allen ends up hurting his heel again.
Yep.
Isn't
that crazy?
Yeah, man.
And that ball that he dropped in the end zone, Keenan Allen dropped, it's not really a drop because that ball was wobbly.
Oh, yeah. And
it was insane. Yeah.
But conventional thinking will say it's a rookie quarterback. You got to help him out. You got to make a play.
Yep. 615-737-1045. Karen in Spring Hill. Hey, Karen.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
So I went to Nissan today for the watch party, and my family is all Bears fans. Fortunately, they weren't with me. So I did a lot of trash talk in the first half, and you know what they say about karma the second half. So, because we got beat by finger polish man, and once again we had a meltdown in the second half and didn't score. So it was just an inexcusable loss, and I was disgusted. My college team lost yesterday, and then the Titans lost today.
Who's your college team?
Auburn.
Oh, I knew that. Yeah. Our text strand with Dawn, she was on the sidelines at Virginia and Wake Forest. And,
I know Dawn.
You know what's funny about that? And not funny, but Slay sent us a message after the first touchdown, and he said, I told y'all about Peyton Thorne, blah, blah. And I was like, Slay, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, he was awful. He was awful.
Four interceptions. All right, well, there's another Saturday next Saturday.
Yep.
That's right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And another Sunday.
Yep.
And another Sunday.
I think calling it disgusting and inexcusable, I'm for that. Because I think if you're going to hold this team to a higher standard or a high standard of any kind, this is a loss that you put in as inexcusable. Does that mean, again, it's not a season-defining loss,
right,
But it is something that we have to understand that's an unacceptable. I mean, that's unacceptable for any team in the NFL to have a 17-point lead going into the half, or 17-3, and then coming back and doing nothing but make errors. I mean, that's all they did was make errors the whole way through.
You know, people are so optimistic, and players and coaches alike when you start a season, right? Because everybody's 0-0, and you like
season of hope.
Season of hope. Everybody be like our moves, and you know. But if we look at it statistically and traditionally, first-year head coaches don't just go win Super Bowls in their first year.
Yep.
You know, very rare. Now, we have seen it of late. Eagles, right? He won his first year. He got there his first year. Who else did that? McVay. No, McVay was year 2.
Yeah.
But there was somebody else that in early on their first year they get. But usually coaches are fired after 2-3 years because they didn't make a change. That's usually what happens. But every now and then you get that guy that just goes on a run. They got the right pieces. He seems to be the right kind of magic to make a run. But usually there's a learning curve. It's a growing league. You got to be able to get better from week to week.
It's just tough to lose that way in the opener.
That's what it is.
Well, because of all the hope and positivity and
being a rookie quarterback, and you felt like, and again, I've said this year is going to come down to quarterback play, right? And the matchups of quarterbacks. If their quarterback plays better than our quarterback, more often than not, I think that's going to be a telltale sign who wins the game.
Yep.
Today wasn't necessarily that.
That game could not have gone better from a defensive standpoint. You couldn't have
both quarterbacks
drawn it up
great.
better.
Yeah, both quarterbacks went great, but I would say Levis played a little bit better than Caleb, except. And it's those exceptions that were so great because Caleb
didn't make
those mistakes.
The Kellum science behind the stat, Titans running back Tony Pollard was clocked by Next Gen Stats at 19.17 miles per hour. That's moving.
Yeah, he was moving on that play.
You ran what, 4.32?
Yeah.
No, give me the real one. 4.31?
No, I'm not going to be braggadocious. You know, I'm going to say, 4.31.
It's not bragging. It's true.
4.31.
4.31. I couldn't remember if it was 1 or 2. I should have gone lower.
I wouldn't have corrected you then.
I wonder how fast that was. Like if they'd had Next Gen Stats. Like when you were running back the kickoff in the Music City Miracle.
Oh, I needed time then. I was moving.
You were moving.
Yeah. Like, what was Derrick Henry's optimum? It was like 21 that 1 year? Like 21 something, almost 22.
I wonder if that's out there on the internet somewhere.
What was it?
Dyson in the Music City Miracle, how fast he was running.
Maybe we can find it.
I tell you all the time, it makes me nervous when I watch a replay because Greg Favors got way too close to you.
I was just going to outrun him too.
Well, I know that, but he had an angle.
Hey, as long as Doug Christie didn't have an angle, he was the only man standing.
Doug Christie ain't got nothing. But then people forget, like, they ran the kickback pretty far.
They sure did.
On the next one.
On the next one. And that made you nervous.
Yep. All right, more Titans Talkback presented by Lee Company. The Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company to tackle their HVAC, plumbing, and electrical problems. They can protect your home, too. Your next play, visit LeeCompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. All right, we will walk you up to Sunday Night Football. Thanks to Westwood One. You can catch that game right here on 104.5 The Zone. And it is the Rams at the Detroit Lions. Going to be a good one tonight. So we'll walk you up to that. We'll be here until 6:30. And if you want to vent, you have the opportunity. Titans Talkback presented by Lee Company. All you need, visit Lee Company online at LeeCompany.com. 615-737-1045. It is Titans Talk Back presented by Lee Company. All you need, visit Lee Company online at leecompany.com. Brent, Dougherty, Zach, Lyons, Kevin, Dyson, Jackson Williams is producing. If you would like to vent, if you want in on this action, 615-737-1045. Titans managed to lose a game where they give up 148 yards of total offense to the opposing team and give up no offensive touchdowns.
I gotta know. There's gotta be a game where statistically it was worse than that. Meaning the defense held them and we still lost. There's gotta be one. I feel like I know there's one, and it's just right here.
I can't think of one. Right off the top of my head.
You were talking about a Ryan Leaf game over at Vanderbilt.
But I remember he didn't have a good game. He was 13 or 24.
But Natron Means did well.
He had like 100, way better than Eddie.
Okay.
I'll tell you that.
Okay.
He had a pretty good game.
That Ravens playoff game here?
Statistically, we were so much better than them.
I think it was like 138 total yards that the Ravens had. Yeah. It was ridiculous.
And they still won. And guess what happened? A pick six, block field goal for a score.
And not only block field goal, but block field goal that goes way down the field.
Yep.
So like Trent Dilfer and those guys didn't have to do anything.
I think he scored, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
he scored.
He did score. Yeah. From Buck Rising, Will Levis said, this feels like the first time in his career where he has given a game away to an opponent in that manner.
Oh, I don't know. There was a game in his senior year or his last year of college. I can't remember if it was against Arkansas or Ole Miss, and he kind of gave that one away, which I can't remember which one it was, but that one he was holding on to the ball too long. They sack fumbled him a few times and everything, but this one I'm sure is way more impactful.
Yeah. Do we give him a pass, and we, and I just talk about us gentlemen in here in this room, fans that are listening included, because he takes accountability?
Yeah, I've always looked at it like this. I didn't like when I looked at Will Levis without knowing him, because you don't know these kids through the pre-draft process. So him eating the mayo and doing the bananas, I mean, it's a thing I made fun of, but I mean, it didn't really play in my evaluation, right?
We all did.
But the evaluation of the quarterback, I always thought that like he left a lot of plays on the field. He was a sub 60% passer is kind of what he would translate to in the NFL and all this stuff. And then when you get to know him after he is drafted by the Tennessee Titans, it's hard not to think, well, the only thing that's going to keep this guy from succeeding is his actual ability. It's not his personality. It's not his work ethic. None of those things are going to prevent him from being a good quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's the issues that you saw on tape, and the issues that you saw on tape right now today are the same as that you saw on tape. But I'm kind of with you. It's like, okay, it's not the end of the world, because I do think he's going to work better to correct and not make the same mistakes. But we've seen plenty of nice guys. We've seen plenty of hardworking guys who just couldn't get over the hump.
To be fair to Will Levis, his senior year, he was injured early, was told to shut it down, and elected not to.
And he could have, because he's supposed to be a top draft pick.
Yeah.
He definitely could have, coming off that Liam Cohen season.
Yeah. He definitely could have shut it down.
Yeah.
But he chose not to. So, I mean, the dude has leadership.
Yeah, that's why I respect him.
I would think that's the last, like, underhanded, pitch throw we see to the edge.
Yeah.
if it's not, then we got real issues.
We got some real issues.
We got some real issues.
I think, like, one caller even said it, just made mention of, and he did it again today. He did it in the preseason, which I'm like, why in the preseason are you taking unnecessary hits? Get your butt down. Now, if this is John Elway in the Super Bowl and you got to get that first down, absolutely go helicopter yourself. Like, that's different. But week one in a game, you've already got the first down. Why are you taking a hit?
They were working on him after that.
Yes, they put some big thing on his back or whatever. I don't know if it's a heating pad or something.
That one may creep into this week.
Dude,
don't you think? I mean, that was a hard hit to the. At first, I was like, well, he didn't get hit in the arm, but I was like, man, he did take a shot to the kidneys.
And they will hit you. I'm sorry. That's why
they light up when the quarterback starts running.
Man, he got a free shot and he's not going down.
I don't get it.
The Higginbotham right call of the game goes to the fourth down conversion as Will Levis hit Tyler Boyd for the first down. J.C. Latham lined up outside next to Tyler Boyd. That was interesting. It led to the Chig touchdown, which we need to talk about that because there have been questions about Chig, and that was a hell of a catch.
Hell of a catch. The throw was kind of ill-advised, but he made a play. You know, there's two people, maybe three, that were non-existent today. Chig being one, other than a touchdown. I feel like he wasn't involved in the game plan at all. DeAndre Hopkins and Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd was the one that shocked me the most.
Right.
And really Josh Wiley, too, because, the conversation has been, Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, 1A, 1B.
Right.
Wiley, Chig, 1A, 1B at tight end as well. And the chemistry between Josh Wiley and Will Levis dating all the way back to the offseason last year because they were on the second and third team reps and all this stuff, and they built this chemistry and everything. And he was inconspicuous, but I think the Tyler Boyd stuff was perplexing. I thought for sure in a game where you need to get a rhythm, Tyler Boyd's the guy you should be going to.
Jumping, like quick game, as the caller said. Like, get the ball in his hands. What did he have, 4 targets, 3 targets maybe?
Yeah. It was really weird. I think he only had 1 target through the first half,
if I'm not
mistaken.
End up with 5, but
I think he only had 1 or 2 in the first half. To me, I just kind of think that's such a peculiar thing after the chemistry that's been on display between Will Levis and Tyler Boyd all throughout the offseason.
Yeah.
Where you see, Will Levis connected to another Tyler Boyd pass in 11-on-11s or 7-on-7s. And like the one consistent thing all offseason, because Calvin Ridley and Will Levis weren't consistent. Chig had drops. Traylon Burks had drops. Was that Tyler Boyd was involved in this offense. He knows this offense the best outside of Bill Callahan. Or Brian Callahan, and he was just like, the game plan just didn't seem to ever just click, and I think that Tyler Boyd would have been a real easy guy to lean on to get it going.
I agree, and just think about it now schematically, I don't know if he was dialed in, like if his number was dialed up, I should say. Like, scheme and play for him, he's been known to move the chains guy. He's been known, even with Chase and Higgins around him, he was the one that had conversions. He was converting third downs. And I don't know how many times he was targeted on third down now I think about it.
Yeah, well, okay, so he ended up with 2 targets in the first half, which I think is way too low. Even if your run game is working, that's way too low for Tyler Boyd. And because, I think a lot of people think that, Tyler Boyd has a good chance of leading the team in targets because they want to get every time they talked about trying to get the best version of Will Levis and to get Will Levis take his game to the next level, it's the stuff they describe, take the easy throws, the easy completions, moving down the field at an efficient pace. Well, that's all stuff that's synonymous with Tyler Boyd's game. And I just felt like of all the talk that we have had about pass catchers all offseason, Chig, Wiley, they have Pollard, they have Spears, they have, DeAndre Hopkins, they have Tyler Boyd, and they have, Calvin Ridley. They have, what I just named, seven different pass catchers. It just never seemed that they had a plan in mind on how to at least focus in on maybe 1 or 2 of them to get started.
They couldn't say that.
They couldn't get any drive extenders, so they couldn't. They couldn't get in a rhythm in terms of calling plays and all those things.
I didn't see, and I could be wrong. Maybe there were a few, and sack happened. He got flushed out, whatever. But I didn't necessarily see that play that was designed for this guy to get the ball. You know what I mean? They called their offense, which nothing wrong with that, especially if you got a rhythm going. But I didn't see that, okay, we're going to do this pick play or this mesh play to make sure we get this ball in this guy's hand. I didn't see a whole lot of that.
I didn't see a lot of plays in the second half.
It's kind of like they didn't – it's when you draw up plays, like when A.J. Brown was here, and they were like, you have to get the ball to A.J. Brown. We want to get the ball to A.J. Brown.
We're taking a shot.
And then there were some games where they were like, let's get the ball to Johnny a lot. And it's like they have all these toys but didn't know how to play with them. And it just felt like they weren't zoned in on, against, let's say, Tyler Boyd probably had the better matchup against Kyler Gordon. No offense to Kyler Gordon or anything in his talent because he's a really good nickel, but Tyler Boyd probably had the advantage. And they didn't find the guy. They didn't decide to find who was providing them an advantage against the defense. And that's ultimately what it comes down to.
Four first downs. Four first downs in the second half.
That's a great way to put it.
Yep.
You got to find your matchups.
That's right. When we come back, we'll take a look ahead to the matchup with the New York Jets coming up, the home opener next weekend. We'll do that next as we continue. Titans Talkback presented by Lee Company next on 104.5 The Zone. Lee Company Titans Talk back. Brent Dougherty, the Dr. Kevin Dyson, and Zach Lyons has another stat.
I'm just full of good news
that Titans fans are going to love to hear.
The new guy's got all the good news.
I got all the good news. This comes courtesy of Teron Davenport, who got this from ESPN Stats Info. The Bears are the first team in NFL history to win a game in which they trailed by at least 17 points and had fewer than 150 total yards.
Oh my God. You're like Debbie Downer from Saturday Night Live.
I know.
Wow.
That is.
That's
a great stat, though.
All you can do is laugh at this point, right?
I mean, seriously. We keep hashing this out, but this is going to be that game when you look back at the end of the year, and if you're like you said, Zach, you happen to miss the playoffs by a game, you're going to be like that damn Bears game.
Bears game.
Yeah.
They didn't make the mistakes, and the Titans didn't play. All the Titans had to do with a 17-0 lead is play a clean game.
That's it.
Go out there and go 3 and out every time, and then punt.
Yeah.
And, hey,
You win that game
17-6.
Yes, that's the key.
You win that game 17-6.
Yep.
Because they got that drive, that one drive.
Yep.
Man. Oh, me. All right, it's time for the Eurofix look ahead. Might as well. Now we look ahead to next week's opponent. And the look ahead, presented by Eurofix. Let me remind you that Eurofix repairs everything that you drive and below dealer pricing. ASE certified technicians, a local company that has serviced Middle Tennessee for more than 2 decades. Visit EurofixOnline.com. Next week, Titans home opener. Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets will be here. The Jets, before the Titans lost to the Bears, were a 4.5-point favorite. I'll have to look and see where that is now. What do you think about this matchup? Aaron Rodgers coming to town. How do you shake what just happened?
I want to see them tonight. They got the late game tonight. I want to see what they do.
Oh, actually tomorrow.
I mean, it's tomorrow. Excuse me, tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I want to see how they look. I think their defense is ahead of their offense, but they have a Hall of Fame quarterback. It's similar to when Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay. There was no drop off. He elevated them offensively, and they went on to win that Super Bowl. I'm not saying that's going to be the case for the Jets, but the quality of play that we're accustomed to seeing from Rodgers, you don't expect to be a drop off, even though he's coming off an injury. He's a little older now, but he's smart. He knows where to go with the football. He's accurate. It's a tough out for anybody, let alone for the Titans who are coming off a terrible loss. I'd be curious to see. I want to see how they are defensively. We're assuming that's the strength of their team. They're going to do some things well. Last year they were actually well on special teams as well. They just really struggled at the quarterback. Zach Wilson struggled at quarterback, and had they had Aaron Rodgers, Norris knows where they would have been last year.
4 plays in. What about the NFL giving them another Monday nighter to start the season, like they had last year when he left?
Well, hopefully he's not carrying the American flag out because you never know what's going to. I couldn't believe that first play. I mean, the whole pageantry of the whole offseason anyway, and then he had the pageantry leading out, and then just like a few minutes later, he's season's over. And I look at it, and a lot of that had to do with the offensive line. Keith Carter's somehow still employed up there, even though every player hates him apparently over in New York. But what is interesting, so we saw on the Thursday Night Football game that the Baltimore Ravens lost 3 starters on their offensive line. They struggled. Well, 2 of those offensive line players that they lost are over there at the Jets. And that's really interesting because you're talking about you got Tyron Smith, John Simpson, and Morgan Moses, who are all new.
But they're all good. Yeah, they're all quality,
Yeah, as long as they stay healthy, they're all good. And then you got if you got Olu Fashanu, who had a really good preseason. I really liked his tape coming out. He's a natural pass protector. He's kind of the backup swing guy there. It's, to me, if I had to get Aaron Rodgers on the schedule coming off a season-ending injury, I want to get him now.
You want the first 2, 3, 4 games?
Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It could mean absolutely nothing because it is Aaron Rodgers, but you're talking about a guy who doesn't have a lot of in-game reps with anybody on this team outside of Alan Lazard.
Yeah. Right.
And no experience, it's all preseason and off-season work, which we know that sometimes that stuff doesn't translate. So this is the time to get Aaron Rodgers if you can find a good time to get Aaron Rodgers.
I'm gonna say this.
I'll push back on that a little bit. I'd rather have him later because he's old and he could get hurt.
Okay? Well, I'm gonna say this as far as his supporting cast.
Yeah.
If you remember, he went from Jerry Judy. I'm not Jerry. I'm about to say Jerry and Judy. My God, he wore same number as me too for Green Bay all those years.
Well, there's Alan Lazard.
I'm talking about before. I'm old.
Devontae Adams?
Yeah, no. Well, Devontae Adams. But my point is, he's had a transition of receivers, and some of them were not. No, they were no names. They weren't. They weren't Devontae Adams, but he found ways to make guys better, and they become. I wouldn't say elite receivers, but very good, statistically very good receiver. Lazard was way better in Green Bay than he's been in New York, right?
Right.
Only thing different is the change of scenery, and he had a different quarterback. Now, how does he look with Aaron Rodgers coming back? So my point is, him, Tom Brady, even Peyton Manning to a certain degree, some quarterbacks, they make that receiver room better than what it actually is. and you put them out there, their accuracy, they throw guys open, they make throws, they don't miss the back shoulder throw, makes a easier catch for receiver. Like he's one of those guys. He is. And so be interested to see, to your point, how fast that connection is. But from my experience of watching him, he's one of those quarterbacks that makes the guys around him better. And if they get a running game, which they kind of already did.
Yeah, Breece Hall is good. I put down two anytime touchdowns on him this week.
And I'm going to say this. I know Buffalo's probably the favorite in that division. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Jets.
Interesting. It's going to be fun to watch that division play itself out. You guys talked about Garrett Wilson earlier. That's another weapon that Aaron Rodgers had, and he has said that he reminds him of Devontae Adams, which is something.
If he gets that kind of trust in him like he had in Devontae.
And he's probably a more reliable, younger version than Devontae, because Devontae struggled with drops his first few years.
Yeah.
We're already talking, this is year 3 of Garrett Wilson, and it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, he's going to catch it.
Yeah.
And then defensively, obviously, Quinnen Williams will have to be dealt with by this offensive line.
And they got another corner that's got his own island again.
Sauce Gardner.
I mean, when you got C.J. Mosley, Quincy Williams in the middle of the defense, being able to this defense mirrors a lot of what the Tennessee Titans do right now. Jermaine Johnson, he really had a good second year last year. They're looking on him to build upon that. So it'll be interesting to see. Tomorrow night's game is going to be a really good litmus test to how many kinks have to be worked out, or are they the same defense as they were prior? But then we got to keep in mind there's a big Grand Canyon size gap in the San Francisco offense and the Tennessee Titans offense. So it's going to be a lot of nuance is going to be needed, even if Aaron Rodgers and company does not look good right out of the gate.
It's a lot different offense. Ayuk and Debo. And, I mean, even Purdy. He's
good.
He's good. I mean, he had to do it a couple years in a row for me, but he has.
Yeah.
But he utilizes the guys around him to their strengths, and they get the ball out. I mean, I didn't even say anything about McCaffrey and what's the tight end's name? I'm trying to blank.
George Kittle,
who I love. That's just a guy who just loves football, loves the game, and makes plays. So,
and they got two of my favorite wide receivers in the draft, in Jacob Cowing and Ricky Pearsall.
Oh my gosh,
man, what a story that is!
Yeah, that was crazy.
And their defense is not slack either.
Nope.
So it's gonna be a good game.
Yeah.
But to that point, I think obviously Titans got a lot of things to clean up offensively. They're gonna be challenged from this defense, and we'll see how what the Jets do with a pretty potent offense that can come at you for so many angles. Debo provides so many mismatches because he can play running back. He's lines with slot, tight end, outside. They look for matchup, and then McCaffrey is just a matchup from hell. He's just linebacker, safety. What do you do? And he's just a phenomenal football player. So it's a matchup problem from any team, let alone the Jets. But the Jets have a corner who said, "You have Ayuk. He doesn't touch the ball."
Yep.
Okay, he follows him around. That eliminates one guy. Now, do you have enough to get to the other guys to the ball and things like that? And right now, San Francisco is pretty talented.
Ayuk may be on a pitch count, too. They're talking about Trent Williams is good to go fully. By the way,
that's a left tackle you want right there.
Yeah. By the way, Dallas Cowboys lead the Cleveland Browns 33-10. Cleveland was favored by 2.5 in this football game. Deshaun Watson, his quarterback rating actually lower than Will Levis's today. 156 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
See?
For
look,
Deshaun Watson.
It could always be worse.
It could always be worse.
I don't know. I might rather lose 33-10. Just flush it.
And then be up 17-0 and then lose it.
To a block punt, a pick six, a fumble that leads to a field goal, a 66-yard kickoff return that leads to a field goal.
Yeah.
See, I was laughing a minute ago. Now I'm right back to it.
Right back.
Again, we'll be here all day tomorrow on 104.5 The Zone, ready to talk through all of this. 24-17, the final score. I think the biggest takeaway I think is defense looked great. Like you couldn't have drawn it up any better.
Yeah.
And then you got to clean up the mistakes, man.
Mm-hmm. Special teams, because that's the phase you should, at worst, have a wash.
It's like 1 or 2 of those things usually leads to a loss, and they had 4.
4 of those. Special teams, you clean up. You don't get a block punt. You don't give it a big return. If you end up even on special teams, then it becomes about how you execute on either side of the other side of the ball for each team, right? But if you lose that one, you must win offense and defense, right? And they lost one or the other. So, again, it's going to be interesting to see how the Jets come out because we are assuming they're going to be some type of way. I want to see what they look like tomorrow night. Titans. Again, you go to the next one. That's the beauty of playing in the National Football League. I get to go to the next game.
I'll end on a good positive vibe.
I appreciate that. Okay,
Tavondre Sweat. Can we just talk about first off how good he was today?
Yes, that's my guy.
But also all the crap all offseason I had to sit there and listen to about from various talking heads, various articles, various people on Twitter that this guy won't see the field a lot. He's just a run-stuffing nose tackle and all this kind of crap that just wasn't true. If you watched the tape, none of that was true. Played 67.9% of the defensive snaps. That's 20 pass plays and 19 run plays is what he played on.
Pretty balanced.
That's 19 more snaps than Sebastian Joseph Day and only 7 less than Jeffrey Simmons. So he only played 7 less snaps than Jeffrey Simmons did all game.
So for people that were worried about him being in shape,
that's not the case.
He's fine. It's fine.
Well, now, professionalism and money have a tendency to make you change some things. College is, there's not a guy behind him.
Yeah.
He don't have to worry about losing his job. And pros, they're going to the next one real quick.
Yeah.
Titans radio coverage produced by Philip Noel and Brad Willis. Studio producer is Jackson Williams. Network producer Joseph Bonanno. Scoreboard producer Lucas Panzica. Promotions director Rich Ferris. Director of sales Hunter Rice. General manager Allison Warren. Operations manager Paul Mason. And the executive producer Rhett Bryan. Again, the Titans fall to the Bears 24-17. Catch all of the analysis and reaction all day long Monday on 104.5 The Zone, beginning with RK Dove from 6 to 10. Buck Rising with Lucas from 10 to 1. Blaine and Zach take over at 1 and roll into 3HL at 3. Sunday Night Football is next. Rams at Lyons. The quarterback trade game, Matthew Stafford versus Jared Goff right here on 104.5 The Zone. For Zach Lyons and Dr. Kevin Dyson, I'm Brent Dougherty saying good night. God bless.
All right.